welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. I am so excited. When am I not excited? But I'm really excited this time because I have currently in my possession, not even kidding, the chart for the Leo full moon lunar eclipse that is happening this Friday, which is February 8th, 9th, 10th. So February the 10th, depending on where it is that you live in the world. But I'm currently on the East Coast in silly Philly. So it's definitely Friday afternoon, Friday night-ish. So I can post the exact time below in the description box, but for now what I have within my hands is the actual chart showing me the perfect placement of all of these planets and what it is that we're working with and the energy, and why you should actually be just as excited as I am, whether you have Leo, whether you are a Leo or whether you're a Leo ascendant or whatever the case may be. All of us have Leo within our charts, and full moons are so close to my heart. So close to my heart, always and forever. I've even set intentions to to bring things into my life since the beginning of time. I've always connected to the full moon. Whenever I look up in the sky and I see the full moon, I'm like, I see you, and you see me, and we see we. It's weird. I have this really strong connection to the moon. Maybe it's because my ascendant is Cancer. Doesn't matter. But either way, these types of moons these full moon eclipses are hugely important, hugely transformative, hugely magical, whether you realize it or not. And I actually challenge you to watch and look to see what happens around full moons and new moons. You'll see crazy changes. You'll see an outbreak of information on the news, or a birth or deaths, or a string of events that happen. Always 5 days before, during, after a full moon. Actually, let me shorten that. I want to say 3 days before, during, and then after a full moon. You'll see it. You'll see it across the board every single time. And as soon as you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll see it for the rest of your life. And then you'll say to people the same stuff that I say, which is there a full moon out? I'm not surprised to hear that, because whenever there's a string of events, it's a full moon or a new moon. Especially an eclipse. So let me take a few steps back. So what makes a lunar eclipse so freaking fabulous? Well, think of a full moon by itself, just times it by 6. So it's like full moon intensified. It's like full moon blown up. It's like a full moon, throw a firecracker in it, boom. And it tends to affect us for 6 months down the line. So sometimes within full moons, sometimes within a full moon period, we'll have a full moon within our life. And it'll affect us right there in this moment, but it won't have a rippling effect. With the lunar eclipse, it has a ripple effect. Now, I really don't want you guys to say, well, Jess, I don't really have Leo influence in my chart. It doesn't matter whether you do have a strong Leo influence in your chart or whether you don't. The moon still affects us every single day in a huge, powerful way. Sometimes some more than others, but at the end of the day, if you want to set really incredibly powerful intentions, and if you want to see massive change within your life that you set the intention for, or maybe you didn't set the intention, maybe life and your astrology chart and the triggering of a full moon creates a huge rippling effect within your life, and you're just kind of tossed into this wave, whether you like it or not. Now's the time. Now's the time. I am so excited for this because legit, I just vibe off of eclipses. But the way that this eclipse is set up is really, truly magical. Really, truly magical. So let's dive into it. So lunar eclipses are full moons intensified. So with a full moon, technically, traditionally, what you do during this time, or the energy of this time, is about endings and culmination and things that have been sitting below the surface, just kind of rising up and coming into our awareness. And we look at it and we're like, oh, these are all the pieces. Here it is. What do I do with it? Do I toss it out? Do I pick it? Do I have this big, you guys heard in the Astro and Tarot forecast, I said it's this big giant peach that's just been sitting, growing, ripening on this tree. And then you're just like, God, that looks good. Pluck it, put it in your basket, eat it later on, and you're just like, whoa. So it's this energy that's been ripening. Whether you had an intention that you set, or whether you put some things into motion, or whether it's, again, the universe just saying, look, girlfriend, or look, boyfriend, it's time for you to open up. It's time for you to change. It's time for you to transform. And this is the ripple effect of that. And this is the domino effect of it. That's what the full moon is. So when I'm looking at the full moon, right now, looking at the chart, the first thing that I'm seeing is that it is happening within the sign of Leo. Now, again, whether you have Leo as your sun sign or your ascendant sign, it doesn't matter. Leo rules something within your chart. So you definitely want to look to see what Leo rules within your own personal astrology chart. If you need help with that, email me. We can work a reading out. But Leo is connected to the heart. Right? So Leo also rules the spine, and it rules the upper back, and it rules the spleen, and it rules the aorta. I can never say that, but it's that vein, that huge pulsating muscle that pushes blood throughout the entire heart, that throughout the entire body, that comes from the heart. Why am I saying this? Because Leo is a sign that says it's all about leadership. It's all about taking charge, taking control, knowing what you can do, and believing in yourself and putting yourself out there. And Leo is sometimes gets a bad rep because they say like, oh, Leo moves like from the ego, where it's like, oh, pay attention to me, or I'm so this, I'm so that, look at me, look at me, look at me. But where this comes from is this natural confidence, and that comes from a place of a bit of the ego, from the sacral chakra, but also from the heart. And the heart, when someone is in love and when the heart is empowered, you can literally do whatever. Like, nothing can stand in your way. And that is the truth. That is the message behind Leo energy. And it connects you directly to your heart, your passion, and the importance of that. And the other thing that stands out to me is the fact that it's the spine, and the connection to the spine. And the spine is what keeps the body upright. Without the spine, we would just collapse. We would be mush. Our internal organs would not be able to function without the spine. The spine is what keeps us erect and what keeps us empowered. And without a strong spine, without that strong foundation, what can we do? Really nothing. Without the pumping of the heart, and without the passion of the heart, and the heart pumping blood throughout the entire body, what do we have? We have nothing. We have no life. And that's what Leo comes in and brings, is this life energy. It's exuding confidence. It's exuding energy. So opposite of that, we have the sun sitting in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is like, wow! Like, I want to put myself out there. I want to innovate. I want to do things differently. Like, it really wants to shake things up and try something new and do something differently. And with the moon representing emotions, and the full moon is so important here. The moon is in our feelings, says, I want to reconnect with my passion, with my heart, with what feels right, what I believe I can do. And then the other thing that I'm seeing is just the importance of the rest of these personal planets, these smaller planets, Mars, Venus, Mercury. What else do we have here? The moon. All of these planets are sitting within such fiery, in signs that want to move, that want to initiate change, that want to spark something, that want to propel you and push you forward, right? So Mars represents passion and fire and force and drive. Sitting within the sign of Aries, a sign that it naturally rules and feels really comfortable within, Aries is the sign of the initiator. It's the first sign within the entire zodiac that wants to lead the way. And then you have Venus representing beauty and our like aesthetic and our values, the things that we value sitting within the sign of Aries, this becomes this, and also Venus naturally rules love and relationships, and the things that we like and the things that we love and are valuable things too. So sometimes it's not even partnerships. Sometimes it's like tangible things like a nice bag or a cell phone. Checking my phone really quickly. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it rules those things. And Venus sitting in within the sign of Aries, it becomes more of a pursuer. And then Mars energy, the aggressive energy, it's so like to try and fight this force, this hot, fiery red force. It's just like, how could you? How could you try and fight it? You guys, we've really have been going through some really serious, intense, and heavy transits. That's not to say that they've all been negative. It's just to say that they've been feeling heavy. And the fact that all of these planets are just like breaking out, like it's just like, what? Like I look like a weirdo right now doing this, but that's the energy of what it is that I'm getting just by looking at this chart. It's just this like blossoming. And with this full moon, something is coming to a head and something is rippling out, and something, it's like you take a rock or you take a ball and you throw it into this lake of water and the ripples send out. And that's exactly what's happening here, is this rippling effect of things that have already been put into motion and are vibrating throughout our entire lives. That's what I see. So the other thing too, because what we really want to look at is not only the placement of the planets, but how are they affecting? How are they in relation to the other planets, right? So the moon, right? We're going to start with the moon. The moon is sextile Jupiter. Now, I'm a very visual person. You guys know this. So I like to put things, and I really like to simplify astrology so that everyone can understand it. Because if you've ever tried to learn astrology, or if you're learning astrology now, or you have learned astrology, it can really be a difficult topic and a difficult subject to learn, because there's so many. It's like a relationship. It's like relearning a relationship and just kind of diving in this old ancient study of the stars, and it can really get complex. So I like to simplify it so that everyone across the board can understand. And because I'm a visual person, I like to create like a metaphor for it. So you have the moon representing emotions and feelings, and you have Jupiter representing abundance and blessings and wants to expand things, and you have it within a sextile position. Now, a sextile position means like the moon looks at Jupiter and like winks at it. Like, I see you. I'm vibing with you. I like you. I don't love you, but I like you. So the energy of these two planets is really kind of like, wink. It's very friendly. It's very like, it's not like blissful, but it's like, you know what I'll say? It's more like a, hi, I'm the moon. And Jupiter is like, good afternoon, moon, I'm Jupiter. Nice to meet you. So it's more of a handshake. And I'll say that a trine is more of like a sexy wink between the planets, just really vibing with each other. Text message. That just the fact that moon and Jupiter, and again, moon represents feelings and Jupiter represents emotions. This wants to, it expands your mood, it boosts your mood, it lifts your mood, it lifts your spirits. So all together we have that really nice positive aspect between that. Then you have the moon emotions trining Uranus sitting within the sign of Aries. Now, a trine is that sexy wink. The energy of those planets, although sometimes they don't always go together, in this case, they're flowing together, they're working together. So I look at this as a desire to shift, an openness to shift, an openness to change, an openness to be different, an openness to try something, a spontaneous reaction to something that you've been feeling, a spontaneous, unfiltered reaction to something that is presented. That's how I look at how I look at the moon and Uranus within this like little sexy trine. So we are a bit more bold with our feelings, especially with the sun sitting in the sign of Leo. We really feel more comfortable with putting ourselves out there. We're more expressive. We're more using more of our imagination. We're more more likely to put ourselves out there and to sparkle and to feel excited and to feel excitement, right? So I love to see that, but as a Virgo and as an earth sign, I always want to, and as a Virgo cusp, I like to have balance. I like to have perfection. So just because the moon is and Uranus are kind of sparking this excitement, I want to ground that energy. I want to look to see, is this energy grounded? And actually it is, because Saturn Saturn has the worst reputation, but Saturn in itself really truly is a blessing, because it makes something an idea and it turns it into a tangible. It takes a thought and brings it right here down to earth. It takes a sparkling energy or the spark of something and makes it long lasting and long term, and brings in commitment and maturity to it, and lengthens it, matures it. And that's what I'm seeing here too, is whenever, I don't know if you guys like notice this, but sometimes my nose starts like tickling when I'm working, and I've always looked at it as like angels and guys just kind of working with me, and it always ends up being my nose. So you'll see me like rubbing my nose, etc., like things like that. The other thing that I'm seeing too is and I want to focus on, is the sun sitting in the sign of Aquarius. Now again, this is all about, when I see this instantly, I think of the words, I kind of need my space, I kind of need my time, or I need the freedom and the platform to express myself in the way that I want to. So I want to put my hands out like this because it's very expressive. It's very like animated. It's a very animated placement, and it needs space to express itself in the way that it feels free to. And with the sun sitting opposing the moon, the sun here is again giving a little handshake to Uranus sitting within the sign of Aries. Again, this is about change. This is about feeling bold, feeling confident, feeling different, feeling being more even. So it allows you to be more comfortable with a shift, with innovating, with innovation, and with looking at things from a totally different way. This is like, I always look at it as like a lightning bolt of energy, of confidence, like a little zing, a little zap that builds you up and sparks your fire and sparks that life energy within you. And then also, you guys know, I want perfection. I want something that not only is excitement for now, but like that we can carry on. That isn't just gonna like spark up and make all of this huge fireworks, and it's just like, okay, well, what is that? What can I do with this? So I look to see the sun, and I see that the sun is sextile. So again, this is like a handshake with the sign of Saturn. So again, all of these planets are currently sitting within places that really complement each other, that really build each other. And with sun sitting sitting in such a perfect pleasant place with the sign of Saturn, this creates again this energy of this firm foundation, something to build upon, something that we can find security within, something that we can depend upon, a realistic way of perceiving something, a realistic way of something manifesting within our lives that really has for like a long-term potential, or is a mature way of looking at things, a realistic way of looking at things, without dampening our spirits or without making us feel pessimistic, because Saturn in its worst state can make us feel pessimistic and depressed. But in a positive state, it says, you know what, this is something that we can do. It creates structure, stability, obedience, and it strengthens whatever it touches. Really, that's what it wants to do. So outside of, what else do I see here? So we have Venus sitting in the sign of Aries still, and Mercury sitting in the sign of Aquarius. Venus and Mercury represents communication, our thoughts, our thinking, and Venus and Mercury together create an interest and a desire and the ability to collaborate, to work with other people, to build a bond, to merge and to connect and to vibe well. This is a great way to, because Mercury connects with communication and your thoughts, you're able to communicate your thoughts, unlike what I'm doing right now. You hear me stumbling, right? It's because I'm so excited. And also, I had this amazing green tea, and it has caffeine in it, so I'm a little bit like wired right now, but not gonna lie. But So you'll hear me kind of stumbling over that, but with Mercury and with Venus together, this is someone who's able to really clearly and beautifully communicate the things that they're thinking and to express themselves in a way that connects with other people and allows other people to collab and to pair up with this mindset and this thinking. So all in all, it just really looks so freaking gorgeous. And I vibe well with the moon. Like let me know if you guys vibe with the full moon or the new moon. But for real, I am just team full moon above and beyond since the beginning of time. If I had to say anything looked bad outside of like global stuff, there does seem to be like global tension that's been happening for a while. Nothing new there, but on a personal level, Saturn is really kind of boxing with Chiron, the wounded healer. Now, if you want to hear about Chiron, I'll link that video below, or you can click it around here somewhere. I don't know how YouTubers do this. I'm more just like, you know, raw with my videos, a little less edited, a little bit more me. So I'm not really sure. And also I'm like brand new on the YouTube scene, so I'm not really sure how they get videos up in the corners. Maybe I'll figure it out, maybe I won't. But either way, it'll be somewhere, whether it be on this video or down below. You'll see the importance of Chiron within your astro chart, within your natal chart, and just globally. It's called the wounded healer. And basically what this meteor, what this little guy represents, is this energy of a wounded space. But why do we want to look for the wound? Because where you find the wound is where you find healing, and where you find healing and where you find the wound is where you find your gift. So it's really important for you to find that within your chart. But within this full moon, what's going on here is I see Saturn and I see Chiron. And Saturn and Chiron together, it can create pain because it's not the best. It doesn't feel really good. But again, Saturn and Chiron together, they ask us to be really serious and realistic about our heart and the things that we want. And it also reminds us, if something blows out of your life at this point, or something ends within your life at this point, really trust it. Really trust it. Stop fighting these transformations that are happening within your life. You guys don't even realize that when you set intentions and when you pray and when you ask for things and then you come back to me, because a lot of my clients are doing this lately. We're working one-on-one and they're saying, Jess, I followed your advice. I came to you and things haven't changed. Like, my life hasn't changed before I came to you. Then I call you, we talk, we have this reading, I feel this profound change, I feel this feeling, I feel this movement. I get on my knees, I pray, or I set in the intention, or I followed your advice, I followed what it was that you said, and I did it. And 2 days later, or a week later, everything that I knew collapsed. And I didn't do it right. And now I'm panicking, and now, like, what do I do? Like, now I have pain, and now now I'm in a state of panic. And I'm just like, girl, this is exactly what it is that you've been asking for. You've been living this life, or you've been living with this, whatever this is, a crappy relationship, an old job, bad health, health care regimens, whatever this is, you've been living with this. And you come to me and you say, Jess, what do I do? And I tell you what to do, and I tell you what to do to create change. And you experience the change, and initially it's painful, initially it shocks you, but something falls apart and it gets dismantled. And then you come back to me and you're panicking because you're like, everything blew apart. What do I do? You go with it. You flow with it. Because finally, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when change happens within your life. It's not always like, oh, a little feather that comes and floats into your life and lands on your nose and tickles your spirits. Like, no, it breaks apart the world as we've known it. And that's what happens with the lunar eclipses. So I really want to say before I sign off that when things start happening within your life, and when things start blasting apart, or when things start ending, or things come to the surface, and you have the ability to look at it and say, whether it looks pretty or whether it's ugly as hell, you're looking at it for what it is. And then from there, you now have the power to see it and then to decide what happens next. All right? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really excited. I'm really giddy because I'm just so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be able to talk with you again. It's so dope. And honestly, reading you guys' comments has been phenomenal. And it touches my heart. And the fact that what I'm saying and what I'm feeling and the messages and that type of stuff, see, my nose is tickling again. The fact that what I'm doing is having a positive effect on you and not just a small group of people and more of a global thing, yo, it's so surreal. It really is. All right, so we'll talk soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to leave comments below, because all of those things are really important to me, and they act as encouragement to not only me, but to our whole entire community, okay? So we'll talk soon. Loving you so, 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 so much. Bye.